Thank you for joining. Subscribing. It means so much to me. If you ever join me, I promise you will always have something fun to do. Okay, I'm not in my studio. I'm in my bed. And the reason there's a box behind me is because you can get your money back from when you move. You can get your money back. And so I have to take that box back. I have a lot of subjects to talk about tonight. I'm going to continue with where we left off with Annalise Micheal, and then I'm going to read till it kills me. I also found out that King Charles has cancer through Andrew Gold. Andrew Gold, this is why I'm reading like this. Hang on. I'm setting up a live on Lasha Rajenko and uploading on Royal Pushback Aftermath. Oh, and between the 3 channels, there's 560 of us. It's amazing to me. And that's why I write everybody's name on the mirror. That's the short that I was talking about. I'm in a lot of pain today, so I promised I would read. King Charles has cancer. I found out through Andrew Gold on his channel. Go subscribe to it. He's freaking amazing. Now, I would be in my new studio, but my mother's having a nap. And I already moved everything from downstairs to upstairs, and I'm not moving it upstairs, downstairs. And my mother has a channel, and we're going to start YouTubing together from room to room because she has osteoporosis, and we thought it would be fun. So, I also want you to know that if this channel ever grows to 1,000 or more, I have lots of mirrors. Can you see that? I've got lots of mirrors. Yes, there's a ring light on. But you know how I hate putting on makeup, but Sandy told me don't go online looking like you just rolled out of bed. So, if you want to know about me, go to change.org. And because of all of you, the signatures have moved and don't donate money. I donated money for the fires in Canada, Hawaii, and for that lady that was kicked out of the royal fold. I petitioned for her to get back in, and we did. So change.org is important, and if people put things up, it's for a reason. Now, I'm just going to leave for 5 minutes because I need to go get water and my glasses. I thought about turning this off and then back on again, but I am the aftermath. But if you read my story, you'll know why I go from subject to subject. But I'm leaving this right here, and we're picking off where I left off 2 days ago. I'll be right back. Oh, and you probably all thought I was in some sexy lingerie. Keep wishing. Okay. For thou, that was just a joke. What movie is that from? Nobody can remember. For thou. Lionel Logue from The King's Speech. He was playing with his kids, and he was helping Bertie with his elocution lessons. I just need to go get a glass of water and a Tylenol because my hip. Oh, and that. Oh, hang on, I'll be right back. Slide 2 minutes to the right. Why is it so dark down here? Oh, jeez, I forgot the Tylenol. Ah. My mother says that when I walk up the stairs, I sound like a herd of elephants. Okay. You know, there's 3 flights of stairs in this townhouse? It's true. And the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start reading the news. Canadians need to wake up today. We left off at page 56. So over 10 months, that's how I've read that much. That's not a lot. Cheer Denise has read 8 books. Cheer Denise, Chee, or is it Cherry Denise? Well, anyways, she takes the deepest dives into books you could imagine. She is a pro. Here's the Palace Papers. Then I'm going to connect the dots. Then I'm going to talk about the Canadian politics. Annalese, Tina, King Charles, connecting the dots. Canadian politics. Okay, I read much better this way, and I'm hoping that people just put the phone down and just listen. Something or somebody else were giving the orders. I struggled against the loss of my violation with all my might, but I always love. Then why struggle? If I didn't, that would mean that I would be giving up on myself. As to this problem, at least, Peter thought he could do something, as he wrote in his reminiscences. Quote, "We agreed that from now on, Annalise would be in charge of all decisions in order to emphasize the strength of her ego and her volition. Subsequently, I always made the same observation. If she felt free, she took the initiative as a matter of course, deciding necessary matters entirely independently. But when that inner harassment took over, she was hardly able to make any decisions at all, or only with the greatest effort. From that passage, you can tell that she's really trying to overcome. And in these other chapters, if you want to catch up, go to the playlist on Royal Pushback Aftermath. They're all there except one. And I need to add it because it was a really good video. It got 328 views because I told one of my ghost stories. And what do royals and commoners have in common? We both encounter feelings of a haunting, feelings of something around us. And Camilla, look, Google Camilla and the haunted house that is no longer haunted. So if there is a heaven and you believe that, then there has to be a hell, says the Old Testament. I'm sorry I couldn't get through The Handmaid's Tale. It was too challenging. I didn't get it after watching. Is season 6 on yet for The Handmaid's Tale? Like, I have no idea. I haven't even checked Google. Perhaps she was a bit too optimistic in her conversations with Peter. For a while, she gave him the impression the depressions appeared only sporadically, but she told Dr. Lenner something different in her interview of December the 11th. She admitted that she did not feel better since she had switched from Tegradol to something different. Remember? Tegradol. I remember saying that. That's the one that works. When questions about her difficulties in communicating with friends and fellow students at Ferdinandum, that's gymnasium, it's also a school, they made clear that the problem had remained because they lived on a different plane of consciousness than I do. Doesn't everybody live on a different plane of consciousness? I mean, come on. Not much changed with the advent of the new year. Annalese had less opportunity to see Father Alt because on January 1st of 1974, he had transferred from the parish of St. Agatha in Aschenberg to become pastor of the Edelben parish. Before leaving, he had counseled Annalise not to neglect seeking medical advice. This was also what her parents wanted. She complained to Peter that neither her priest nor her parents believed she was being hounded by those awful faces. Instead, she was being sent from psychiatrist to psychiatrist. Oh, wow. Can anybody relate to that? But she complied anyway. She saw Dr. Schlepp. This is the one that she doesn't like. In January. We are not told on what date who noted that complaint of headaches to our Dr. Lenner. She was a bit more talkative. She told him that she could tolerate other people more easily, that she felt some joy now, much as when she played the piano. She was an amazing piano player, by the way. Does anybody remember that movie with Hunt? She was in that movie Always with Richard Dreyfuss. Her last name's Hunt, and she played a movie called it was called Piano, and she couldn't speak. And that's actually what happened to Annalise. I just thought of that. That's how Annalise felt toward the end. Like she would go in and out of consciousness, playing the piano, not being able to talk, being able to talk. Things that were reported about her hands swelling. Well, you can tell the age of a woman by her hands, period, right? That's what ADHD does. That's selective concentration. When one point starts to remind you of other things and then you get off track. Okay, at the conclusion of the interview, Dr. Leonard suggested that she seek group therapy. Okay, so she's going to psychiatrist. This is exhausting what she's going through. I can feel the exhaustion. Annalise went. She was appalled at the things that came up in the discussion. It was an entirely different world from hers, a world of complexes, inhibitions, frustrations, compulsions. She didn't belong there. Quote, I have no idea what I was supposed to do to gain from going there. I'm not crazy. And she did not go back. So she wasn't crazy. I'm stopping here so we can read a bit of the Palace Papers. We're on page 58. I'm a little slow in reading it. But so what? The turtle always does finish the finish line, sometimes a little slower, but they do win at the end. Process that. Look, if you want this channel to succeed and for me to continue posting videos, you have to like and comment. It's so important. I didn't even know that when I was doing hashtags that it went to certain pages. Like I'm telling you, this might be a little ADHD, like somebody keeps telling me, but I think it's because she wants me to succeed. She sees something in this little diamond in the rough. All right. I read Kryptonite before, but I kept interrupting because it reminded me again. Oh, here we go. All right. Kryptonite, the prologue is really boring. And the reason I'm reading this is because this was written, I don't even know. What, you can't find the date on the book, Lasha? Anyways, it's not a friendly book toward the royals. I'm Canadian. King Charles has cancer. I'll go into the connections of why that may have happened throughout the years. And that's why I wanted to read this so I didn't forget the whole story. Now, lots of people have read this online like 2 years ago. However, I'm starting with chapter 1, and this is what I promised to read. I'm reading 4 pages. Long videos don't seem to stand very well, except Cheer Denise. Cheer Denise, if you ever see this, you're my hero. I'll have to show you the new studio afterwards, so this isn't it. So Kryptonite is on the playlist under Royal Pushback Aftermath, and I just started imitating Edith and Archie Bunker when I read Kryptonite. And then I started talking about Superman. I don't even. Okay. Never again. The royals confront a post-Diana world. Hang on. Hang on. In the first years of the 21st century, a damp melancholy seemed to hang over the British royals that extended to their friends, servants, and hanger-ons, Oh, I need to talk about Lady Colin Campbell after this. Don't let me forget. Research for my biography of Princess Diana in 2006, almost 10 years after her death, took me to the fading walk-up flats in far-flung London, postal codes of former courtiers and retainers. The smell of their stair carpets always filled me with a gloom, a waft of downward mobility and pointless, genteel sacrifice. Think about that without me interjecting. The light always seems to go out on the third floor landing because of the time switch. The door would open to a small, heavily book-lined, one-bedroom apartment full of tasteful knickknacks, a world of remnants from a life of palace duty. Think of that, and then I'll talk about Queen Elizabeth tomorrow. The Queen's regard, a Sergio watercolor, a few courtly thank you letters signed in royal cursive writing. Nowhere was the creak of irrelevance and decay more apparent than a memorial service in March 2006 at the Guards' Chapel at Wellington Barracks at Westminster for the Queen's cousin and society photographer, Lord Lichfield. I was there because I worked with the charming Lichfield often in the early 1980s. She's editing something. When I was editing, dun dun dun, Tatler, like a tattletale, like she's doing. And once spent, and we're reading. Why are we so intrigued by this? Helmut Newton and David Bailey covering the Monaco Grand Prix. Now remember, there's 45 royal families left in the world, and most of them are in China. But the British royal family is the richest, the most famous, but they're regarded by the other royal families as boors, hunters, and horses, and, but boy, do they put on a show. Oh, in one of those inbred social details, the baffled royal outsider, he had joined the Queen to watch the Grand National aside of Windsor Castle after Charles and Camilla's wedding blessing at St. George's Chapel. Do you remember in the Netflix series when Mummy grants Charles to marry Camilla and Dominic West, who plays Charles, starts crying? Oh, thank you, Mummy. Thank you, Mummy. Thank you. She made life difficult for a lot of people. No one rises for the Greeks anymore. Isn't it perfectly awful? Hissed the Queen Mother's former steward, William Backstairs Billy Tellon. Oh, I've heard of this guy. He also acted very surprised that the Queen didn't come herself. She was his cousin after all. Yes, except she was more a cousin from his point of view than hers. Oh, that just makes perfect sense. Okay. Oh, court circular stalwarts filled the Guards' Chapel that rainy day, including the Queen's 50-year-old daughter, Princess Anne, who is also known as the Princess Royal, and Camilla Parker Bowles, newly elevated to HRH, the Duchess of Cornwall. Since her marriage to Prince Charles the previous year, the ex-King of England and Greece trudged past to their paw behind Camilla's once dashing ex-husband, Andrew Parker Bowles, in his usher's morning suit. Do you know that when Prince Charles and Lady Diana got married, Andrew Parker Bowles was one of the riders beside the carriage. I mean, I've heard of people trying to sleep themselves their way up. Meghan Markle did a really good job of it. If you go to Desperate Housewives recaps, oh, they used to drive me crazy. I unsubscribed. I was so mad because I thought they were too disparaging on Harry and Meghan. And the more research I did myself, I thought, Jesus, they were right. And I wrote them a comment. I apologized. They didn't send me a heart yet, but that's okay. But I will never forget anybody. Hey, you want me to show you why? Those of you who have been on here before know, but you got to go to Royal Pushback Aftermath. But you know what? Since I did that reading of Annalese the other day, there were 54 people, 8 people subscribed. And you know what bugs me about this first channel I started? I don't know how to find anybody on the computer. I don't know. Oh, you're seeing up my nose. I'm sorry. Nobody knew how to, or I didn't know how to splice and slice. Then I created L&L Soul Sisters. Something went, got this phone, changed SIM cards. So then I had to start a channel all over again. But there are 560 of us in the rap community. Okay. So I'm going to post this, upload this, and people on this channel, check this one out because all of the information here, the claw, is on here. Okay, here we go. All right. Upstairs down, don't tell me. Give it up respectfully. Round and round, don't tell me. Upside down. Boy, you help me inside out. Round and round. Good night, everybody. Take care of yourselves. I'll do the same. 27-minute video packed full of information. Hi. All right. So watch. I'm going to post this on Royal Pushback Aftermath. And this is how I can do the videos with the old footage from this on Royal Pushback Aftermath. It's kind of fun. If you want to stick around, stick around. And if you don't, I understand. Thank you for watching. If you could comment on what you think of Annalese, please, it would mean so. Well, you know what? I'm not asking anymore. People do what they do. Okay. Okay. So look, I'm uploading this and I need a thumbnail, right? So do you think that will grab attention? I tried to make the palace papers today like they looked authentic, and I tried to burn the paper and everything, but that idea didn't go well. So let's not do that one. Let's edit the thumbnail to, oh, there's Sophie snooping out. That is so cute. But that's not going to get the attention. This might. The King and Camilla. So I'm going to select that. And this is my description. Royal Pushback Aftermath presents 4-minute readings from The Exorcism of Annalise Micheal and the Palace Papers, along with some thoughts. Then I would do this. Hashtags. Hashtag Tina Brown. Hashtag Prince Harry, hashtag Meghan Markle, hashtag truth, hashtag the Palace Papers, hashtag royalty, hashtag commoners, hashtag royal pushback aftermath, hashtag story time, hashtag books, hashtag learning, hashtag YouTube bloopers, hashtag learning, growth, hashtag achievement, hashtag proud, hashtag thank you, subscribers. So I add my description. The Exorcism of Annalese, the Palace Papers, what do royals and commoners have in common? Hashtag royalty, hashtag commoners. I have to take out 6 letters. And then I have to space the commoners. Anybody who says that YouTube is a waste of time, it's not. If I take out the, there. Okay, next. No, this is not for children. So now I have to wait for it to upload. So it will go on Royal Pushback Aftermath. So there's 204 souls on this channel, 60 on this channel, and I don't know who the new 8 subscribers are. I don't like that. And then 266 on L&L Soul Sisters, and a couple of people have subscribed and I can't find them. The only way I can find people is through recaps, and I try not to look at that too much, and I gauge by comments and so on. So at any rate, I hope you enjoyed that. I know it's a little different from a really professional podcast. I'm getting there, you know. Like I said, that's why I go to change.org. This helped me recover from something. That's why I want to talk about Canadian negligence, and I wanted to talk about May, December and those movie reviews. But sometimes I have too many ideas, and I just, as Sarah M says, stick to one topic at a time. So thank you so much, okay? Take care of yourselves. I'll do the same, okay? Of course I want to end it. I don't